Ron Hershey from MuscularDevelopment.com. Coverage of the Olympia weekend brought to you by High Tech Pharmaceuticals. Here with Giles Tiger Thomas. We just wrapped up judging on day one, Friday. So today, this morning, we had judging for fitness, figure, women's physique, and 212. Fitness, we're not really going to talk about much because we haven't seen any routines. They're going to do the routines tonight. So they just did a little physique round quick for them. So let's get into the figure Olympia. We had two-time Olympia champions today battling it out. They've both sort of missed each other, I believe, at different shows because one would be skipping a year while the other was doing it. So this was LaToya Watts and Sydney Gillen were definitely, as far as I could tell, battling out for that top spot today. How did you see those two stacking up? Because I've always had trouble trying to figure those two as far as who's better.
Well, for me, it was a clear Sydney versus LaToya, as I expected. Sydney, for me, is a clear winner. Because in the last call-out, they just brought out LaToya and Sydney. For me, that's the top two. I think Sydney's going to win it again. I think she's going to win a third Olympia. I know they both got 2 Olympia titles each. LaToya was 15-16, Sydney was 17-18, and I think she's going to take a third Olympia title tonight. Third, I thought maybe Jessica might sneak in third, but
Jessica Reyes-Padilla, everybody. Jessica
Reyes-Padilla. I think maybe third to fifth. I felt like just some of the girls from the back who looked slightly better than her in a couple of poses, but she was a lot better than she was last week when she took third. I think the rest is going to go to Ivana Vucic. She was very impressive. Sandra Giles.
From Mexico, yeah.
Yeah, also Brittany Campbell was very good as well.
Brittany Campbell, I believe Martina Yabakova got a really good look too.
Right, okay.
So it's most likely going to come down to LaToya and Sydney. Giles gives Sydney the nod on this one. We'll see what happens tonight.
Yeah.
Okay. Then next. Oh, what'd I drop? Okay, so next up, this is live. This isn't live, but women's physique. So we had Shanique Grant returning. How many Olympias she won? Any idea? I know she's won a couple. Shanique.
2.
2?
No, one.
One, okay.
One, we're talking about.
So Shanique Grant looking phenomenal. Last year's runner-up, the 23-year-old Natalia Abraham Coelho, giving her a good run for the money. How do you think those two stacked up?
Shanique looked good, but I don't know what it is from the back. I think it's because I don't think she had any oil or tan on the back. She looked sensational from the front and side. But, there's some people there that reckon that Natalia could win this.
Yeah.
Which, Natalia's good. She's very good. I think it's going to be the same top two as it was last year. I think Natalia and Shanique first and second. But I think there's some rumblings that saying that Natalia could win this. Yeah. I still think Shanique's got... I'm sorry, my voice is going. I still think Shanique is going to run away with this. I think she's going to take a second Olympia title. She's just so structurally gifted. She's so good. Her conditioning is perfect. I love the way that... I think she's even more refined this year. I'm glad that she hasn't come in bigger, because for me, she kind of fits the criteria perfectly.
We also had some very strong competition. Shika Nguyen. I'm sorry, Shika.
Nguyen.
How do you say it? Nguyen.
Oh.
Shika. I'm just going to call her Shika from Singapore. Coming on strong. I didn't even know who she was until last year, but she's really been making a lot of noise in women's physique. Phenomenal physique on this woman.
This is only her third contest.
Third contest?
Ever.
Oh, come on.
She had her first contest last November. She did the Vancouver Amateur, won that, and the day after won the Vancouver Pro, beating Sheila Black.
Yeah.
Now she's here at the Olympia, and I think she's probably going to make top 5.
Wow.
So
third contest. Yeah.
This time last year, she hadn't even done a contest.
Unbelievable. Dreams do come true, everybody. Another phenomenon from Brazil. Brazil just cranks out these women with the awesome physiques. Daniele Castillo from Brazil, coming on strong. I remember seeing her win in Toronto last year, I believe it was. And she's giving these people a fight too. Any comments on Daniele?
She's probably going to sneak in third or fourth. She's very impressive. She was first call out. The first call out was strange because there was names in there that I didn't expect to see in the first call out. But it was a bit strange because it was some names I wasn't familiar with. But a couple of girls that were in the second call out that I felt were better. Girls like Shika and Margita as well. Margita Zamalova was very impressive. She was 10th place here last year.
Wow.
And I felt like she was harshly placed last year, but I think she's going to be definitely top 5. I think she's won it's at least 2 pro shows she's won in the last year. No, and she's so consistent with her conditioning, and she's got a very, very, very. I mean, she's getting that rare combination of really good, sharp conditioning, and still very feminine in the face. A beautiful look. I mean, could she sneak in third, Margita Zamalova? I mean, that's a real possibility. I would love to see her get third or fourth.
And we also had from Spain, Laura Pintado Chinchilla. Chinchilla's also something they make coats out of. It's a little animal, but she looked really good too. I didn't really have her on my radar. She's not someone I've been paying a lot of attention to, but she was getting some good looks today. All right, let's move on, guys. 212 bodybuilding was the main event today, and wow, there were some surprises here. Some guys I did not expect to be as high. So we'll start with the last year's runner-up. Last year's runner-up was Derek Lunsford. He was the favorite going in, and based on everything I saw in this judging, he's my favorite to win this. We can argue about it. That's fine.
What did you say?
I'm talking about Derek Lunsford.
Winning it?
Yes.
No.
Okay, see, so we have different opinions. Okay, now we'll talk in a minute. Here's why I have him for the win.
Okay, sorry, I'm just shocked about that.
Okay. Mass, shape, structure. Okay. Other guys a couple guys we're going to talk about do have him on muscle detail, muscle maturity, you know, things he's going to get over time. But I think he has enough of those other ingredients to get past. You probably have either Clarita or Kamal winning.
100%.
You know, okay, so which one? We got Kamal Elgarni, who was third place last year, right?
I was sat with Dennis James and George Farah. Dennis James had Sean Clarita winning.
Wow. Okay.
George Farah had Kamal winning, and I think Kamal is going to win. Now, the only thing that's concerning for me for tonight, I actually messaged Sean Clarita, is there's a little bit of not stomach distension, but I think he needs to eat nothing now from now to the night show, because that, like, Kamal's midsection is so perfectly flat. Everything's so tight and flat. I think Kamal's going to win this. I think the top two for me was clear as day.
Okay.
Clear as day. Derek Lunsford is he reminds me of like a mini Jay Cutler when you'd see him when Jay Cutler was just the widest thing on
That's what I'm saying. It just draws your eyes.
No, but there's no separation, there's no detail. He really lacks detail. He
does. Yeah,
his glutes are shredded, but there's in the chest and the shoulders, once again, there's no real clear separations. He hits the most muscular, and whereas like Sean Clarida or Kamal, there's just so much detail going on.
All kinds of splintered striations, yeah.
Yeah, Derek, I think, is a clear third.
Wow.
I clear third, but
okay.
But for me, the top two, it's going to be a toss-up between Sean Clarida and Sean Clarida. What blows my mind is the fact that he's still 40 pounds under the 212 limit.
He's at 172, something like that?
He weighed in 172. He reckoned he'd be about 170 by the time he dried out, which would take him... he was 160 last year at the Olympia. So that guy literally has put... On a frame that size, he has put 10 pounds of muscle tissue, solid muscle tissue.
Let me ask you this. How tall do you think Sean really is?
I think he's about 5'1". Yeah, I mean... 5'2" maximum.
I want to say somewhere between 5 foot and 5'1",
yeah.
And 172 pounds. That is a lot of muscle to pack on a frame.
He looked like a little Ronnie Coleman flex wheeler, like his front lats. It was like I could see like there was like Dorian like levels of thickness, and it was just he just really stood out. He looked sensational. I would have no arguments for Sean Clarida winning this tonight.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna look like a doofus if Derek takes third, but you know what? We have to do it that way. That's how I saw it. This is how he saw it. So that's the top three in no particular order, because we can argue all day. Ahmad Ashkenani, a lot of his fans were hoping he was going to pull out a win this year, but I didn't have him ever in the contention for a win. Not the best I've seen him. Still very, very good. I didn't really get a good look at him, to be honest, except for a couple times. But where did you see him slipping as far as when he had been taking second to Flex Lewis? I think he looked a lot sharper back then.
He's probably going to get fourth. He's going to get fourth. He was better than he was last year, because I was sat next to George Farah and I said, what do you think? I think he's going to get fourth off it. I tell you who was getting a lot of love from the judges was Sami Al-Haddad.
Yes.
Now, I think the last time Sami did the Olympia, I think he got 13th.
He's a guy that when he's a little bit off, it's not impressive. But when he's on, that shape really comes through.
I mean, he's been around since, I remember when he turned pro, I picked him up from the airport, 2011 he won the Amateur Olympia in the UK. He won the Body Power, he's won, was it New York Pro he won? He's won some like big pro shows, but it looked like a couple of years ago he was starting to drop off, like Dexter was in 2012, and then all of a sudden, after today, because George Farah prepped him for this one, he was in the first call out, he was in the second call out. And but do you know what it was with Samuel Head? He fades really fast. When he came out, he looked legit top 5, but as it was going on, he was really fading. But I think Samuel will be maybe 5th place.
Okay.
So yeah, Sammy 5th, and then I think 6th. I think maybe Hide, Eduardo.
Well, Eduardo wasn't even in the first call out.
Yeah.
Hide was.
Yeah, and also Zane Watson really impressed me. And John Jewett, I would love to see sneak in the top 6, but I think he's going to get 6th to 7th, maybe 8th. Yeah. But that's a good. I mean, I was talking to him last night at the Meet the Olympians, and I think he's going to be really happy to get a top 10. But I think he's maybe like 6th, 7th.
I was a little surprised to see David Henry get a 3rd call out. I believe he was in. So he's probably somewhere around 10th or 12th, I'm guessing.
He wasn't top 10. They called the top 10 out because what they did at the end, they actually let you know who the top 10 were, because normally they used to do it backstage an hour later and the competitors would find out, but they did it so quick with every category that you could now realise who actually the top 10 were. Yeah. But Dave Henry not in top 10, I mean, remember 2016 he took 5th, I had him 2nd. I mean, the last couple of years he's been getting like 4th, around 4th place. You know, maybe deserved maybe 1 spot higher, but this is a guy who gets consistently screwed. Dave Henry gets screwed for like 3-4 years running.
Condition-wise, what did you see with him today? At his 100% of his best, where would you rate him at? Based on that, where was he?
I just assumed he would be top 5. I mean, it's like, I mean, he must be devastated. I mean, he was a bit flat. He was a little bit flat, but his condition was good. George Farris commented. He said, look at his stomach. He's very blurry and he's distended. And I didn't really see too much of that there. I thought he looked as good as he's ever looked. Because things with Dave Henry, he always looks flat at the pre-judge, and in the night show he just absolutely comes in and he just looks sensational. Yeah. So it's a shame he's not going to get to compete tonight to really show and fight to try and move up into that top 6. But the fact that Dave Henry coming in looking as good as he's ever looked and not making top 10 it's disgraceful, really.
He was the first Olympia 202 champion.
Yeah, 2008.
2008, 11 years ago.
Yeah.
And it's not like his physique has deteriorated.
He looks amazing. He looks fantastic. So,
I guess we're going to have to wait a few hours. Anybody else here that you want to make note of? John Jewett?
I thought Zane Watson was probably the best I've ever seen him.
Yeah.
I tell you what really impressed me was Angel Calderon Frias.
From Spain, yeah.
Yeah, I really liked him. I thought Ole Krivyi from Ukraine was good.
Yeah.
Aaron Polite's a fantastic potential, and also Thomas Tabasiar needs a bit more upper body, but what a beautiful shape, what a beautiful physique. If that guy has another, say, 10 pounds to reach the 212 limit, give that guy a couple of years. He's from Slovakia. He's really going to move up. He was very impressive.
Yeah. I mean, everybody was in shape pretty much. I didn't see anybody more than a couple % off what you would want to see.
Yeah.
It's just very, very consistent, crisp condition all the way down that 212 lineup.
Yeah.
Okay, so the finals for all these divisions are tonight at 7, as well as the judging for the Mr. Olympia tonight. So please come back to musculardevelopment.com. We have contest photos going up. We have interviews going up. We have the play-by-play on the musculardevelopment.com Noble Forum. You can be part of the action, give your 2 cents, comment, argue, do whatever you want to do. And we will check that out later. It's coming up in a couple hours. So please stay tuned at musculardevelopment.com. Coverage of Olympia weekend brought to you by High Tech Pharmaceuticals. Keep watching.